Welcome to Leadership Beyond Burnout. I'm your host, Dr. Kimberly L. Wilson. And to all of those who are coming back, welcome back, my fired up friends. And to those new guests, welcome. Feel free to contribute in the comments section, ask me questions, and let's get right into it. So, before we talk about where we heal, lead, and succeed, I want to share a few things about two powerful experiences that could change the way you lead and live. Firstly, I want to share with you about Slay. This is where you step up, live out, and affirm yourself. Now, this is going to be a leadership program. It's for the bold woman who's done trading all of her well being for workplace wins. It's a very short experiences. It's 2 weeks in a row. It's going to be fire. It's going to leave you realigned, refueled, and rooted in your purpose. Now, the second one is geared more toward leadership specifically. It's called the Resilient Leader Lab. And now, if you're in leadership role and you're carrying the weight of decisions, expectations, and handling all of this invisible labor, this is where your leadership gets its breath back. You'll get both strategy, soul, and sustainability to get you back in alignment. So now, if this is stirring something in your soul, it feels like it's something that you'd love to do, to learn about, DM me the word LEAD, lead, and you can click the links. I'll put them in later in the description. So let's get into today's show. We are going to talk about Juneteenth. Not next week, but it's coming up soon. So it's not just a federal holiday, it is a historical turning point. This is the opportunity for a leadership moment. It can be a mirror, somewhat of a responsibility, and yes, a celebration. But if we are being truly honest, too many organizations are still getting Juneteenth wrong. Juneteenth isn't just a historical marker, it's a leadership moment. We have seen many times where it becomes just a celebration. And in a lot of organizational spaces, what we see is performative remembrance. It's a social media post here, a social media post there, a catered lunch there, but no true understanding or change in the spirit of Juneteenth. So today we're talking about how, as leaders, we can honor Juneteenth with integrity and impact. Whether you're in HR, C suite, education, healthcare, or the community, this is a message that you're going to find helpful. Let's get into it. So, how do we begin Juneteenth? We definitely want to start with what to do and what not to do. So let's start with what Juneteenth really is, because what I found is that a lot of people are not even sure what Juneteenth is specifically. So Juneteenth, it actually is observed on June 19th, and it marks the day in 1865 when enslaved people in Galveston, Texas, finally learned they were freed. 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. So let me repeat that. They didn't find out until 2 years later. Even though the Emancipation Proclamation had been signed, they were still enslaved. So it's a day of remembrance. And although it's just become popular, it's been celebrated for quite some time in the African American culture. It's a day of resilience, remembrance, and it can be a great contribution to society. And as leaders, it's our responsibility to approach this holiday with awareness and genuine respect. So let's get into 10 things not to do during the celebration, because we want to get this right, and how we as leaders can show up with authenticity, impact, and cultural respect. Okay. So, what not to do? Let's start with that. So, what not to do for Juneteenth, we want to not treat it like it's a second 4th of July. This is not about fireworks. It's not about freedom delayed and the pain and the power and the perseverance that followed. Okay. We want to avoid having, and it's hard to believe that I still have to say this, but it's still happening, so we have to address it. We're not having any menus that are watermelon and fried chicken themed. Not doing that. It's still wrong to engage in that. Please avoid asking Black colleagues to explain what the holiday is to you. Google is widely available. You can search that up and find it. So don't make that the emotional labor of Black colleagues. The third thing that we want to try to avoid is not having DEI discount sales. Freedom is not a promo code. I've seen this so many often where we use this as an opportunity to sell our products, to sell our wares, to get things on discount. Don't do that in leadership. And another thing to try to avoid, just so that others don't dread this holiday, don't make the center of it white guilt either. This is not the time to make others feel bad. This is a time to begin to do better. Number five, I think we're on number five. Avoid token events. So these one-time panels or where we have all this education and discussion, but there's no follow-up. That's not progress. That's a performative action. So if you're going to have a panel talking about how to have a more inclusive workplace culture, how to change things, ensure that there is a system in place or a committee appointed to be able to figure out what the company needs to be able to be more aligned and have a better culture. If you're not of the same culture, try not to overspeak. If you haven't done the work, it's probably a great time to listen and invite in experts or people who are more versed in the topic. Let me know if I'm going too fast. Just put it in the comments. Secondly, not secondly, I think we're at number 6 or 7. Don't silence employees who actually want to lead meaningful observances. Allow them to be visible, okay? Let them lead. And the flip side of that as well, be really careful not to expect or appoint someone to lead this observance at the workplace because of their culture. They may not know anything about it or they may not be comfortable leading it. That's something that I've seen happen often when it comes to specific cultural observances that by default the one Black person in the office is supposed to educate and empower and lead everything. And they may not want to do that. So make it a question rather than a command. Next thing that we want to avoid doing is don't pretend that this isn't a workplace issue. Racism didn't stop in 1865, and Black burnout is still very real. It is a thing. Just the weight of being in spaces that are not culturally friendly at times. And finally, on the thing not to do, don't think of this as the end of the work. If you do something for Juneteenth, this is just a checkpoint. It can be a barometer that reflects what's going on presently and where you want to go. It can be something that grows as the company grows. So lead in a way that's helpful for the individuals in the company and your consumers. Now that we've covered all the things not to do, and there may be some more, so I'd love to hear some of the things that possibly you've seen in the workplace or someone else's workplace that you think is a good thing to avoid. But there are things that we can do that are very positive in the workplace. So let's talk about those things that we can do to honor Juneteenth and with integrity as well as action. You can begin this week, if you're catching this when I'm airing it, begin by educating your leadership team first. History matters. Understanding matters. Don't start with a party, start with a truth. And truth can show up in a variety of ways. What truth you choose to highlight. You can offer flexible time off or offer paid time off for reflection or service. You know? So it doesn't just have to be a day away from work. It can be a day of action where a group of employees or the whole team, everyone in the company, chooses a way to give back, give to people, show them freedom, allow them to choose how they want to honor the day. So it can be in groups or it can be individually. And then you can create some type of forum to allow them to share how they actually chose to show up that day in a underserved community. Pay Black speakers. Oh, next one. Pay Black speakers, consultants, and facilitators. Don't just feature them. Don't just give them the pleasure of exposure. Pay them for their work. Pay them for the emotional labor to provide a professional presentation, consultation, panel. There are many of them that are available to help you to craft a truly exceptional experience that is not just performative. You can begin to host intergenerational storytelling events. Allow Black voices to lead, create elevated lived experiences. And there's something so magical. And when you can interconnect several generations, like right now, we have a time period in our lives where there are possibly four living generations in family. I know my husband's generation, they had five generations living at one time. So if you can gather all of that wisdom in different generational perspectives, magic. Your organization can partner with local Black led organizations, not just giving donations, but show up, be consistent, um, be a presence. You can do something once a quarter, once a month, but beginning to partner in meaningful ways that actually contribute to the economic and social elevation of that business. Now more than ever, it's important to invest in Black employees year round. With promotions, support, mentorship, not just during February or June when that's the spotlight, but having some true connection and mentorship so that they can grow in your company and contribute innovation, ideas. The next thing that you can do is use the day to review your equity practices. That's extremely meaningful. Look at the hiring data. Look at leadership representation. What does your leadership team look like? Is it monochromatic? You know, only one type of representation. Where are your retention gaps? Do you need to do more recruiting in diverse communities? And please, if you don't know how to do any of that, please connect with me, DM me, and we can set up a consultation and just talk about some of the ways to make this truly a transformative time for the company as well as individuals. Another way to have an impactful Juneteenth day is to create space for healing. No, because there is a lot of invisible labor being carried around by some of your Black and diverse employees, and it can be absolutely exhausting. So, if you can create any type of meaningful space for them to engage in some self healing where they feel like they can truly discuss things without being monitored, that's helpful. Invite cross cultural reflection. So while you simultaneously have these healing spaces, have places where there can be a dialogue and people can learn cross culturally from one another. Asking everyone, what does freedom mean to you? What does it cost? Because there is a cost for freedom. It's never free. And a lot of times, some feel like freedom comes at a cost to others personally. So it's important to have some dialogue about that. Make it personal. Ask yourself, what does liberated leadership look like in your position? What do you want that to feel like for you as the leader and for those who you've been entrusted to lead? So, those are the 10 things of what to do and what not to do for Juneteenth. I hope they've been very helpful, very impactful, that you take some of those ideas, run with them, make them even better. Now, what does this mean for you as a leader? Let's bring this home. What does all of this have to do with leadership and burnout? Right? Everything. Because inauthentic leadership is exhausting. It's the emotional labor of managing microaggressions, the silence, and forced cheerfulness. It all begins to add up. It is a main contributor of burnout for diverse employees. Because liberation isn't just historical, it can be deeply personal. Juneteenth invites us not just to mark history, but to make history. We have the opportunity to lead differently. We can lead boldly, we can lead compassionately, and we can choose to lead consciously. And I believe you're here because you're ready for that. You're ready for the next step. I want to thank you so much for being here today. We have a short show today, and if you've been holding it all together, especially in healthcare, social work, caregiving spaces, I've created something for you. And it's a way to address some some burnout through coloring, which can be such a healing and transformative experience. It's called Healing Hearts and Affirmations Coloring Book for Healthcare Warriors and for those who are in service. And it's more than a coloring book, it's a reset, it's a ritual, it's a space to catch your breath. It can be perfect for break rooms. It can be perfect for your bag, perfect for your team. And you can grab yours at the link below that I'll put in the comments section. Thank you so very much for joining us today. You can find us every Thursday here at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 p.m. Pacific. Until next time, make sure that you're leading beyond burnout.